Hi, I'm Nicole Roberts-Jones, and welcome to The Fierce Files. Now, what I know for sure is that one of life's greatest gifts will meet you when you go after your more. And so here is why I share with you thought-provoking insight and behind-the-curtain conversations with women who have reached the pinnacle of success because they went after their more. Now, I really want you to get this. One idea from these episodes can make a remarkable difference, not just in your career, but in your life. And I want to make sure you join the conversation in our Facebook group. So go to findyourfiercemovement.com. Now grab your pen and get ready for today's session of The Fierce Files. Hello and welcome to this episode of The Fierce Files. Today I'm excited to welcome Miss Cheryl Walker-Robertson. Now, Cheryl is the founder of Protocol International, an organization that provides transformative training and coaching for today's executives and tomorrow's business leaders. She has a wide range of expertise, including executive leadership, coaching, organizational management, interpersonal protocol, and professional skills development. Now, she has represented, her clients represent Fortune 500 businesses, government, education, entertainment, and the list can go on and on. Now, the thing that I think is so remarkable about Cheryl, now, of course, this is one of many, is that she's a graduate of St. Augustine's College in North Carolina. Now, she also studied under the direction of Dorothea Johnson, the protocol advisor and liaison to the Washington diplomatic community, right? For the Joint Military Attaché, right? She's also the author of Rules of Engagement, How to Win at Dining with Clients and Other Important People, and a contributing writer to various trade and business publications. Now, I've taken some of Cheryl's classes, and let me tell you, she has me drinking and thinking about how I be at dinner in a whole different way. So, ladies, please help me welcome Mrs. Cheryl Walker-Robertson. Hey, Miss Cheryl.
Hey, how are you?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm good, Nicole. So happy to be with you.
So excited.
Fierce Factor Lab.
Yes, and excited to have a conversation with you because the thing that I love about you the most is the ease and elegance that you effortlessly do what you do. And so share with the ladies, you really are what I would call a protocol master. So how did you even get into this whole notion of teaching now? And I always consider, every time I drink, and I told Cheryl this, every time I drink something now, whether it's a cup of coffee, whether it's a glass of wine, and I'm out and I see my lipstick on the glass, I am thinking about Cheryl, like, Lord Jesus. So how did you even get into this?
That little tip I gave you, I hope.
Yes.
I gave you.
So how did you even get into this whole world of protocol?
I was always that person growing up that my friends would ask, how are we supposed to do this? How are we supposed to be in this situation? And I took a lot of pride in always having the answer. And even when I didn't, I would know how to research it to find, okay, this is what the expectation is. And so as a tomboy growing up in West Philadelphia, my mother made me take etiquette classes in charm school, which I absolutely hated.
Right.
And as a result of that, I got some stuff, that I learned that were, I thought, really keys or really like secret things that everybody didn't know. Mm-hmm. But I didn't appreciate it as much as I did once I became an international flight attendant. Mm-hmm. And so once I started flying for Pan American Airlines, it all really kicked in for me how important it is to understand what protocol is and how to use etiquette as a way to make people comfortable around you. And consider me an international flight attendant, how important that is to build rapport and just a little bit of time and how to make people feel comfortable with you and with each other in a tight space like that, some of which these folks were very afraid of flying. And then different cultures, of course. And so how do you make everybody okay with everybody in just a little bit of time?
Right.
And so that's when I realized this is some sort of secret code. And this is something that distinguishes people from other folks who don't know the rules of the game. And that's pretty much how I got into it. After I was a flight attendant, I used these tools and these skills and these strategies in everything that I did. And when I started getting other positions and I started climbing in the corporate ladder, I started realizing, wow, this really does work. And it really is giving me the kind of success that I seek. And so it became my thing, having briefings and helping people to understand corporate culture and social culture. And so it just made me seek that knowledge all the time and everywhere I could get it. And I was reading a magazine and I saw a school that trained diplomats and trained military and military wives and people who travel internationally under the company brand or under the United States brand. And I just, I have to get into this school. I just loved it. It had my name written all over it. But it really wasn't for me, a lay person. So that school made all the difference for me.
Right. And I want to stop real quick because, and I love the story and the trajectory, but I know going from a big corporate job, well, let's stop for a minute and talk about Pan Air, right? Because those of you that remember, because I remember, right? And being an African-American woman, right?
You're telling on yourself.
Girl, right? But being an African-American woman back then, I know that etiquette made all the difference for you. So tell us a little bit about what it meant for you. And I'm sure you probably were one of few.
I was one of few. And those of us that made it through the selection process, which was pretty tough, and then also the training process, which was even more tough. You just can't imagine what the type of training that you have to go through to be a flight attendant. You think it's all chicken or beef, but it's so much more than that. So the few of us that made it, we had our own sort of sorority, and we always acknowledged each other, and served as resources to one another, and so it was quite cosmopolitan. It's not like flying these days. I remember when I was a flight attendant back in the day, we would say things like, "One day flying is going to be like taking a Greyhound bus," and we would giggle. And pretty much that's what it's like now. We're bringing our food on just like we do on a Greyhound bus. And we take our shoes off when we get on the plane just like we used to do on a Greyhound bus. So it's much different now. Flying used to be so cosmopolitan and so elegant, so classy. You would get dressed up, especially if you were in first class. Your behavior was completely different.
And I still feel like
walked you to the gate.
And I still feel like that as an African-American woman growing up in that era where there was a certain prestige to how you flew. And, I still, so I get that. And the thing that I think probably what's really stood out for me as you just began to tell that story is your gift for protocol, for etiquette. And I'm sure you overlooked it then, right? Even though your mom made you go through classes. And so shifting from there to go into corporate. And here's what I know most women do. And I don't know if you did this, so I'm going to say most women, so I won't get myself in trouble, right? We overlook what's easy and effortless to us. And then we can't even figure out, will anybody pay us for it? Did you ever have a moment where all these people are coming to you around etiquette and protocol, all these, executives, and as you're climbing the corporate ladder, people are pulling you to the side, asking for insight, and yet you didn't think you could monetize it?
No, it never occurred to me at all. But people started suggesting, this is something you should do. You're so good at this. Why don't you make this a business? I constantly heard that. But I could never figure out, well, how am I supposed to get monetized or paid for giving people advice like this? Most people didn't have any value for it unless they made some huge mistake. And then they only saw it up to that point. They didn't see the big picture around having this as a part of your brand, as a part of your personality, as a part of the impression that you leave. No one really saw that as something you should have as a part of your toolkit. So I really couldn't figure out how to make money on it. But I did know one thing. I wanted as much of the information as I could get because I saw what it did for me in my career.
So what made the shift for you?
Somebody paid me.
It's that first check,
one person paid me.
And how did that even happen without going into detail? Did the person just say, "Hey, I want to hire you"? How did that even happen?
Well, I've been giving them advice about different things, and they felt like they were rough around the edges, and they had just gotten this promotion. And I gave them advice about one situation, and it turned everything around for them. And so they kept coming back. And so at some point, I felt like I'm getting overwhelmed with helping you manage your job. I can't really manage my own. I can't really continue to do this at this level with you.
Right.
And she said, if I paid you, would you help me? And I didn't even know what to charge. So I said, well, if you paid me, I could prioritize it for sure. And I said, whatever you come up with, I'd be grateful for. And she gave me an amount of money that made me know, wow, I definitely need to do this as a business. And she helped me with it. And so, here I am.
Right. And I love that, because so many of us and so many of you ladies that are listening, I call it the lighthouse effect, where what a lighthouse does on the sea or ocean, it shines a light in the darkness so the boat can find its way to shore. And many of us have that lighthouse effect in us, where our gift is shining and other people are coming to it. They're drawn to it, right? Like a moth to a flame. Yeah. And we overlook it. We do. And it's a gift from God, really. Yes.
I mean, that thing that becomes that thing that you're so good at, that everybody else can recognize first before you, becomes some sort of light, like you said, some signal, some sign that this was the thing that perhaps God chose for you. You don't really choose it, it chooses you. Right. And so it's so natural, and it's so genuine, and it's so easy, that you figure out, how do I share it? And then the money just comes with that.
Right. We're going to stop here and take a quick commercial break, and we'll be back for more. I have a question for you. Have you ever felt like something is missing in your career? See, whether you love your job or you absolutely hate it, guess what? There's more for you. And maybe your more is that you want to begin a business to simply get paid for what you know, and you're not sure where to begin. Or maybe you've started your business and you're not generating the income you desire and, quite honestly, you deserve. Regardless of where you are, what I've found is that all you really need is clarity. And actually, you need more than clarity. You need a roadmap toward living in your purpose and getting paid for it. So go to fierceroadmapquiz.com. See, I created the Fierce Roadmap Quiz so that you can get the clarity you need on where you are and the steps you need to move it forward now. So let's get you headed in the right direction on all the ways you should get paid for what you know. Go to fierceroadmapquiz.com. What would you say standing in your truth, standing in the truth of your gift, has done to your professional career? And what I mean by that is, there was a moment in time when you doubted it. Well, let me be clear, you never doubted it. You just didn't know you could build a business around it, right? So when you made that shift and you got that first check, what happened that, kind of changed everything for you after that?
Well, then it became, how do I build the infrastructure to make this not just a hobby, not just the thing people know about me, but the thing that I build into a business, not a hustle, not a side gig, but this is the business. So what does that look like? So then it becomes, what do the binders look like? What will my cards look like? What will my tagline be? What will my elevator pitch be? What will my marketing materials be? Who is my target audience? Who cares about this? And so then that just, became, a whole big part of, how do I form this from what it is now into what it could possibly be? The possibilities of this so huge. So how do I maximize this opportunity to make it all that it could be? I'm still working on that.
Right. And with every person you meet, and like I said, I've had the pleasure of sitting in one of her workshops, right? And it was so much fun, and the grace and ease and elegance of it, right? And the little trick I have to show you, because if I tell you, it's going to sound crazy. So those of you that meet me in the street, I'll show you the trick, because if I say it, it won't sound the same. But the grace and elegance of it, and so just seeing you on this side, there was a time when you knew that you had to do this and it was uncomfortable, right? It was a time that you quit your other job and did this full time, right? At that uncomfortable place, what did you have to let go of or give up to say yes to this?
It's a sacrifice every day. When you're an entrepreneur, you have to make hardcore decisions all the time. Should I do this or should I do that? Should I invest in this Or is this the direction I should go in? And so these are decisions that you make every single day. And there was a point in my career where I was full-time with an organization that I absolutely loved. I loved working for this. I loved having a title with this company. And I still work with this company, but now I work as a protocol officer. I do sales and marketing for this company, but under my protocol brand.
Yes.
But it was a tough time to make a decision. Do I want to do Protocol International full-time and then make this a client, or do I stay with this security of this job with all the great benefits that go with it,
right,
and not take a chance? So, I think that was one of the biggest decisions. But I'm still making those big decisions, right now in my career. It's getting later in my career. I got a sick parent.
Yeah,
I have a grown daughter that needs me. My husband's become an entrepreneur, so I still to this day have to wake up every morning and say, okay, what decisions am I going to make today? And where should my priorities lie? Am I pushing this business 24/7? Am I going to have to pull back a little bit and give a little bit of me to my daughter, a little bit more of me to my mom now, and a little bit more of me to my husband, who now has a division with my company. So that's the other thing. My husband retired from his banking job and assumed a position at my company as the president of one of the divisions. And so now the success of my company has taken on a whole nother flavor in terms of, this is a family business for real. This is how we're paying our bills. And so it has come to be even more critical, the success of my company.
Right. And what's it like now? Because technically you're your husband's boss. I'm sure he might not say it like that, because I know my husband wouldn't, right?
No, girl, please. He might hear you.
Right. Okay. So even that dynamic shifts a little bit.
He is the president of his division. Yes, indeed. He's the president of his division. He's still my husband. He's still a man. So sometimes I have to give him that look like, wait a minute.
Right.
You're the president of a division, but I have to worry about the whole company.
Exactly.
So we do get to that point, but we laugh at the end.
And I love how you are honoring him and honoring your relationship, right? Because to make him a president of a division still gives him, because let me tell you guys, we as little girls, we play with dolls. Men play with G.I. Joe. And so they are already seeking position when they're little. We are focused on family when we're little. And so as now a grown man, or as my grandmother would say, a grown ass man, right? And now he's working for you, really, right? It's honoring who he is by giving him that title, that prestige still, and then honoring the relationship that the two of you have. So I love that.
Well, I mean, just like you described earlier, he stepped into his own light.
Right.
So he had been a banker for 30 years. And he's very good at what he did, retail banking. And he rose in his career, throughout his career, to the highest heights. But this was the thing he really wanted to do. He really wanted to be a coach. He really wanted to be in sports. He really wanted to guide young men and help them to understand what the expectation is of being a man in a particular business. And so now he gets the chance to live his life. I've never seen him happier.
So good.
He is walking in his might. He is offering his talents to so many, and everybody's reaping the rewards of it. So it's a win-win. And so what a blessing it's been to be able to offer him the format, the forum, Protocol International, for him to do his thing too. So it's been a beautiful thing.
That's so good. That's so good. Love that. Love that. So if you had to share with the women that are listening into this podcast, and they are at that moment when they see or they know they have a gift. And some people don't even realize it's a gift. I call it a rumble in your spirit, calling you out to more. If you had to give them 3 steps that they must take to say yes to that more, what would they be?
Number 1, I'd say be fierce.
No pun intended.
Be fierce
right.
about, pun intended. Pun intended. Be fierce about your business. Be fierce about what you know, and be fierce about being able to articulate the need for what you do or what you have. And I think being fierce is the opposite of having fear. So don't have, just step out there and take a chance and put it out there and see what the universe brings back. Because if it's for you, it is yours. Nothing's going to keep you from it.
Exactly.
So I also think it's important to be well trained and to have all the necessary certifications, and that gives you all the credibility around it, and constantly teach and constantly learn and constantly grow in your business. If you're in a particular business, there should be no one that knows more about what you do than you.
Right.
About your topic, whatever your area of expertise is. There's nobody that knows more about it than you. So read everything you're supposed to read. Stay on top of what the industry is doing. Keep updated on technology. And the other thing I'd like to say, which is so critical, is have the right people around you and supporting you. Mm-hmm. That is critical. Was that more than 3?
No, that was 3. Sure. That was right. I'm just busy taking notes. Let me tell you, I'm a host and student at the same time. So number 1, she said, be fierce about what your business is, about what you know, about the need for what you know, right? The people that need you, and be fierce about what you do. And the second thing you said is be well trained, which I love. One of my favorite quotes is, the skills that got you to this level are not sufficient for your next. They're not. Yeah. So you've got to always be committed to learn and grow. And if you're going to expand your territory and grow your business or start your business, you've got to get the skills on that level, not the level you're already on. I often also say that your resume, your bio is done. That's done. That's over. You're finished with that. So what are you doing for that next to grow into and expand your territory? And then number 3, have the right people around you. I was talking to one of my accountability partners the other day, and she sent me this long text. She came to an event I was speaking at, and she was going on about how blessed and she is. I said, no, girl, you don't understand. I'm blessed because you challenged me. And I started listening all the way she challenged me, and we were both having a love fest. And in that moment, I said, oh my God, I love this, because if it wasn't for the light around you, and I'm not making it a brag about me moment, I want you guys to get this. You really challenge yourself when you see people around you playing bigger, because either you grow, there are 2 people around you, right? The people that say, ooh, Cheryl, I love what you're doing. Show me how you did that. Or the people that go, who do you think you are? Now, when who do you think you are people happen, you've got to understand that what's happening probably for her is that you are rumbling up the gift in her and she's not ready. Not your responsibility. That's her responsibility, right? And then she's also showing you who she is. So, you got to be mindful of, do you leave her in the front row or do you then escort her to the balcony? I'm just saying. So really looking at it, are these people around you growing you, or are they hindering you from your next level? Oh my goodness, that's so good. Right. So good. So powerful. So powerful. Oh my goodness. So you've given us so much to think about, and I know that the ladies are going to want to know, where can they find Cheryl? Now, your book is on Amazon, correct?
It's correct. It is.
So Rules of Engagement.
It's on Amazon.com, Rules of Engagement, how to win at entertaining clients and other important people. And of course, everybody is important.
Yes. So I highly recommend the book. I told you I've gone to her trainings and shifted me, right? So much so that I had the nerve to show my husband a trick she showed me. He was like, what? Well, I didn't show him. He realized I was doing it. And I was trying to not. No, you did. And he was like, what are you doing? I was like, I'll tell you later. Right. And so when I got home and told him, he just fell out laughing. And he realized that I don't have lipstick on my glasses anymore. Right. So I thought that was funny. But anyway, so with that, Ms. Cheryl, thank you for coming in, and thank you for first saying yes to your gift, because I know it's gifted me, and I know I'm one of many that have experienced a shift in how we be because you've said yes to your gift. So thank you for that.
Thank you, Nicole Roberts-Jones. And I just want to say you are fierce, and it's such an amazing thing for you to give this gift to your listening audience. I'm grateful that you're living in your light and in your talent. And I appreciate being a guest on your show today. Thank you.
I appreciate you, girl. Don't make me cry. Don't make me cry on this while I'm on. I appreciate you. Thank you so much. Thank you for joining us for this episode of The Fierce Files. Now, I want you to walk away from these episodes with value, so grab your pen and answer either one or all three of these questions. Number one, what was your greatest takeaway? Number two, what will you do differently as a result of what you heard? So you may have heard something you've already heard before, or you may have learned something new. Either way, don't take the insight that was shared with you for granted. So commit to doing one thing different because of what you heard. Number three, what was confirmation for you? What did you hear that confirmed you're on the right path? See, I want you to take a moment and celebrate you. Too often in our journey, we focus on what we're not doing and we forget to celebrate what we are doing. So what was something that showed you that you're headed in the right direction? Now, I want you to share your answers. Share your answer to either number one, what was your greatest takeaway? Number two, what would you do different? Or number three, what was confirmation for you? And share it in our Facebook community. So go to findyourfiercemovement.com and use the hashtag FierceFiles. Now, each experience we encourage, support, and celebrate as a community. It allows us to expand in possibility and wisdom, in encouragement and love. Now, we've invited you into our community to deepen our journey with being the answer someone needs and in being committed to your next level. So until the next time, be extraordinary, be unapologetic, be bodaciously you, go and be fierce.